Welcome to the Your Business on Purpose podcast, the ultimate resource for women business owners looking to confidently navigate their entrepreneurial journey while upholding their principles. I'm Dawnette Palmore, your host and fellow entrepreneur. Join me as we immerse ourselves in illuminating conversations with accomplished experts spanning various fields across the business spectrum. Together, we'll unearth strategic insights into seizing opportunities and ensuring that your business is equipped with the essential elements aligned with your purpose and values. Welcome back to Your Business on Purpose podcast. Today's episode is actually a topic that I have been dealing with as a woman business owner very harshly this last year, but also things that I've been observing. And so I want to talk about those because we need to change the way that we support women. And so this episode is going to be, it's going to make some people uncomfortable. But that's okay because it needs to be spoken. And I am so frustrated right now. But because if we're going to talk about supporting women, we need to talk about what that actually looks like. Not just what it sounds good on Instagram, this hashtag, that hashtag. So we see the phrases everywhere, right? Women supporting women. It's in bios, it's on posts, it's on merch. We say it, we do all these things, right? But here's what I want us to sit with today and think about as we go through this podcast. What does it actually look like in real life to support women? When no one's watching, when it doesn't benefit you, and when it costs you something. Because support's not a slogan, it's a behavior. And today we're going to really dive in and talk about the difference between what support looks like and what support is and what support isn't. Because, oh my goodness, I have just seen so much stuff, especially this last year. My eyes have been open and it grieves my heart really because this is not how it should be. Before we dive into this, I want to say, when we look back on history and we look at when women came together and actually supported each other and built something, it was absolutely beautiful and things got moved, things shifted. It's incredible. But what I have noticed is that that's not what women are doing. They're saying that's what they're doing. But when you get into the weeds of it, it's not what they're doing. They're backbiting, they're sabotaging, they're gossiping, they're tearing each other down. It is absolutely horrendous. Okay, so let's move into this other topic because I could get super fired up about that, but I want to get to my point. So a lot of what we see labeled as support is actually performative, right? It looks like liking someone's post, but then you're questioning privately. Hyping someone publicly, but then you're undermining them behind closed doors. How many times has that happened? I have seen that happen so many times. They're like, oh, hype did it. And then behind closed doors, they're saying something else. And I'm just like, I am so confused. And then saying I support women as long as there's no competition involved. So this is huge, right? We can't say we support women, and then because they're in the same industry as us, now all of a sudden we're enemies and we're not going to support each other. Like that does not make sense in my brain. I don't understand it. I don't see anybody as my competition. Even if we're in the same field, even if we're doing the same work, we're not competition. We're complementary. So there are people you're going to work with that I don't want to work with. And there are going to be people that I don't want to work with that you're going to work with. That's a whole nother podcast. And I think I've talked about collaboration before. Anyways, so support that disappears the moment that there's comparison, jealousy, money, or proximity to power will never support was never actually support. So if we're supporting someone, in this case, we're talking about women, because we're going to gain something, or, I'm sorry, when that support, we say we're supporting women in business, all of a sudden doesn't become support, but turns into something like comparison or competition. When it becomes jealousy, money, or if we're going to get power, if this is like, oh, I'm going to get this, and that was not support. That was never support. You were in it for yourself. So real support isn't loud. It's consistent. And it does not require an audience. We really have to I don't want to say put ourselves on the back burner, but we don't have to shine a light on ourselves when we refer people, when we try to make somebody else look bad by making ourselves look bigger. Whenever somebody is selling something that either I already know about, or maybe I have another rep, or I buy from another company, whatever the case may be, and if the first thing they do, if they do it at all, if they start bashing another company, I am done, I'm out. That automatically is a no for me, because you have already told me what kind of person you are. I don't want to know why their stuff is bad. I want to know why your stuff is better. And you can do that without bashing other people, other products, and other services. We don't have to go there. There's no reason for it. So, what does actual support look like, right? We want to know what does real women supporting women look like? So it's one, speaking well of someone when they're not in the room. Are you bringing other people's names in rooms they're not in? And are you speaking well of them? Are you speaking bad because they're not there? And then you speak something else in front of their face. That's not support. And it's going to come out. People are going to notice that. Either you support them or you don't. So, referring business without needing credit. Sometimes people won't refer to you if you don't have an affiliate program, or, they're not going to get something from you for it. And, if that's the way you want to do business, that's the way you want to do business. But that's not real support. You're driven by a monetary reward instead of the satisfaction of just helping another woman in business. There is so much other stuff against us already. Why are we against each other? It just boggles my mind. And then real support looks like when we give honest feedback instead of fake encouragement. So I see this so much, and this is part of, are we speaking well of someone when they're not even in the room? When someone either maybe didn't do that great of a presentation, are we saying, oh my gosh, that was wonderful, what a great presentation? Or are we saying, you know what, that was good, but here's what you can improve on? How hard is that? Or you might want to think about rephrasing this, because when you said this is kind of how I received it. I don't know if other people are doing that, but this is kind of how it sounded. Oh, wow, I didn't realize that. Are we giving this honest feedback? Or are we just telling people, oh, all she wants to do is this, all she wants to do that. She's a horrible speaker. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Please don't do that to people. That is not support. We all started off bad at something. We don't all say something correctly. If we don't get honest feedback, we can never change what we're not aware of. And sometimes we just don't become aware of things because, we just say things, and sometimes we don't hear it from another point of view. I know I've said things and people are like, what are you saying? And I was like, oh, let me rephrase that. So it's that simple. That simple. And then correcting behavior privately instead of criticizing people publicly. Just like we talked about, giving honest feedback. Like you could say, you might want to think about this or you might want to think about that. We can do this privately. This is the whole saying of fixing a woman's crown without ever telling her it was crooked, right? So instead of going around criticizing people like, oh my gosh, did you see what she had on? Or that was a horrible presentation, or whatever it is, that's a horrible product. When I do products, I'm honest with people and I'm like, you know what? I've tried that and this is kind of what I've experienced with it. Some people are like, okay, I'm sorry to hear that, blah, 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 because not everything is for everybody. So if somebody starts trying to talk me into something too, that's another shut off. But I'm open to listen to, oh, well, maybe it was because da da da. And maybe I can alter what I'm doing. Anyways, we can go into many directions with this conversation. So here is another big one. Not participating in gossip that's disguised as concern. And I don't know why women love to gossip. I don't know what it is about that, but we do. And we love to gossip about each other. And we love it's almost like we get so off on seeing another woman fall or another woman struggle or whatever it may be. Like, that's just gross. It's gross. Okay, so sometimes when you hear women say I'm worried about her, there sometimes it's code for I'm uncomfortable with her confidence, growth, or success, or whatever it may be. But can we say, what do you think about, do you think she's okay? Or just going to her and asking her, hey, are you okay? Or, is something going on? I saw this was a little bit off. It's out of your character. Just saying that. Or sometimes people just make things up and none of it's even real, which is also gross. So that is not what support looks like. No. It's not blind agreement. It's integrity. We have lost integrity in this world, a lot of it. So sometimes the most supportive thing that we can say to somebody is, I don't agree with that, and I care enough about you to be honest. In the world of information, we lack massive common sense. And, I've been married almost 28 years. We don't agree on everything. We do not agree on everything. There are things we disagree with sometimes weekly, and that's okay. We're our own people, but we don't have to hate each other. We don't have to talk bad about each other because of that. We're all different people. We see through all these different lenses. We can have a whole podcast on that too. But if somebody does something in public, we can say, I don't know what, like, I don't agree with that. And I care enough about you to be honest. I just had to do that with a friend. She wasn't showing up for something, consistently wasn't showing up for something, felt like she wasn't really invested in it. And I just said, hey, maybe this isn't a good time. Let's go ahead and cut the ties with this project. We can, address it later, at a later date, and see if it's going to work for us to pick this back up. And she was like, oh, wow, thank you. Yes, it is a timing thing. And I felt bad because I needed to say it, but I didn't. Like, the whole friendship could have got ruined if I just was like, oh my gosh, she's so not committed. I'm just going to, but actually just saying, hey, this is what I noticed. Let me know if I'm wrong or not. Easy enough to do, right? So how can we support women without benefiting? It's easy to support women that are not in our industry, that aren't growing as fast as us, and that aren't going off after the same opportunities as us. But real support shows up when there's absolutely zero, nada, none, no benefit to you. So I was talking with somebody because I had some stuff happen this year in business. And I was questioning why people continued to support this person who was always tearing people down and making problems and being mean to women and stuff. And her comment was, because in this industry, if you do something for someone, then both parties feel like you owe them something back. And I was like, what? That's insane. You do something for somebody else because it's the right thing to do, because you're actually supporting women or small business or whatever, not because you're going to gain anything from it. So, yeah, we have to, again, not support to get this. I don't even know the word to describe it, to get recognition. We support because that's what we really truly believe that we're doing and that we want to do. Okay, I want to say this too, because, and I hit on this a little bit, but silence is not neutral. Okay, when we stay quiet while another woman is being dismissed, being talked over, disrespected, and misrepresented, your silence doesn't do anybody any good. And I'm going to actually get more into this in episode 186. So make sure that you like and subscribe to this podcast so that you get notifications so that you get a notification whenever I drop an episode. But 186, we're going to dive deeper into this topic because I have seen so much. Oh goodness, so much. Okay. Is speaking up going to be risky? Absolutely. Is it going to be uncomfortable? Absolutely. Could it cost us some business? It might. But is it the right thing to do? No, silence is not the right thing to do. Standing up for someone when we know that they're being wronged is the right thing to do. So then I would say, if your support only exists when it's safe, it's not support. It's not support. And I'm going to tell you a quick story about this. I was doing an event earlier this year with two gentlemen and another woman. We were planning this event for other people. We had a meeting. We agreed about how much we were going to charge, what food we were going to have, entertainment. We started putting all the pieces together for an event, as you do. We all agreed on it. One of the gentlemen kept trying to change everything all the time. And he wanted people to come for free. And I was like, well, we can't do that because we're making food and somebody's got to pay for the food. It wasn't a potluck. So he kind of backed off. And then it got to just a few days before the event. I don't even remember exactly how many days. And we were all in a group text. Things were getting pretty heated, and I try to be very, very careful of what I say. I try to be careful because I want to be supportive of small business, but I also want to be careful of the things we say because we should be. And all of a sudden, he's inviting people to come and they can eat the leftovers if they haven't paid. And I was like, no, they can't. Like, it's not fair to the people who paid, and it's not fair to them. And he was insisting, and I was just like, I'm out. Like, I'll just, like, you don't need to use my event space, and I'll just be out. And he said, okay. So I called one of the other gentlemen to let him know I was out, and he wanted to go around this guy and still have the event. And I said, okay, I'm willing to do that. Like, they paid, we've already set this. If we're only a few days away, let's just do it. And he found out, which is fine. The other lady called him and told him And so he started going back and forth and telling me he's going to show up. And I was like, I don't think that's a good idea because, you are bringing bad energy. Like you're trying to invite people, and I don't want to have to turn people away at the door because they didn't pay. I don't want to track this. I don't want to police this. We just want to have a good time. That's what this whole thing was about. Just having a good time. Anyways, in the text message, um, he then began to attack me as a woman. Now, we were in the text thread with another gentleman and a woman, and he began to attack me as a woman. And I was like, he basically told me to shut up. I mean, he did say, shut up, go back in the kitchen and cook. And I was like, okay, I'm done. Like, I'm not even going to address any of this. I'm done. Neither one of that gentleman or the other woman stood up and said anything to him. Nothing. They did not say a word to him. And then I find out he's done this to many other women. And I don't know why people are not saying anything to him. It's like they're allowing it to happen. And so this is what happens when we don't stand up for people. When we stay silent, people's bad behavior is allowed to continue, and they do it again and again and again because people are staying silent. I'm not staying silent. I'm going to let you know what he did. And if I see you do it, I'm definitely calling you out because that's not okay. Okay, so that's what happens when silence happens. It's not support. Okay, support is a daily practice, right? It doesn't mean we have to, put women on pedestals every single day, but there's things that we can do. We can say stuff in meetings, in conversations, in leadership, in conflict. Like we can speak up, right? We can share their post. We can comment on their post. We can buy their product. We can refer them. We could buy their service. Like there's so many other ways to support each other, but it's not words, it's action. It is action. And when we're saying words and pretending like we're supporting, but then we're going behind their back and doing other stuff, that's not support. It's not it. It voids everything out. And when we're staying silent, that's also not support, and it voids everything out. And we have to choose our integrity over our popularity. And I'm going to talk more about that and what happened to me with some other women earlier this year and what it has cost me. But that's okay. Respect over relevance, like having respect for each other. We've lost that. And then, of course, having courage over our comfort. It takes a lot to have courage to stand up when we see something wrong, but we have to, or if we don't stand up, nobody else is going to. It's when we stand up that we give courage to others to do the same. This is how women got their voting rights. This is how women got to be able to get loans without male relative signatures. This is why we're business owners and we can go out into the world and do the things we dream of as women. Where before, 4 or 5 generations ago, it was unheard of. But it was because women didn't stay silent. And somewhere along the line, we've lost our way. So, as we go into this new year, let's really ponder and think about, where have I shown real support? Where have I stayed silent to stay safe? And where is the opportunity to do better starting right now? Because once we become aware of what we've done or we haven't done, that's our power. Now we can say, shoot, I missed that opportunity. Let me do better. Let me do better. And that's what this is all about. How can we be better? This isn't about shame. It's about growth and helping each other grow as a community of women. Because without women, nothing would exist. I mean, We birth the geniuses, we birth the inventors, we birth creators. We have the ability to give life from our bodies. We have the power to make massive impacting changes in this world when we stick together, when we're supporting each other. Doesn't mean we're going to agree with everything each other does. And nobody ever agrees with anybody 100% of the time. But we don't have to point those disagreements out. We don't have to dislike someone because we disagree with their political points or their view on this and religion, and that we don't have to go there. We can just love people for who they are and support women, because we know that when we are together, when we stand up together, when we do things together, atmosphere shifts. And that's what we're here to do. So, supporting women is not a brand statement. It's a character decision. And sometimes the most powerful support you'll ever give won't be seen, shared, or even celebrated, but it will matter. Oh, okay. I had to get that off my chest because I see so much. It just breaks my heart. It really does. Oh gosh. Okay. It really does break my heart to see women backbiting and doing all this stuff. But let's be better in 2026. Let's do better. Let's be better. Let's become aware so that we can get all that stuff off of our table, off of our plate, create a new plate, a clean table, and help really support women and drive them to success. So if this episode resonates with you, please share it with a woman who leads with integrity or who needs a reminder that real support still exists. And in our next episode, like I said, in episode 186, which will be 2 episodes from now, we're going to talk about what it looks like to stand up for women in real time. And I'll expand on that other story and expand on some other ones. But until then, stay intentional, stay grounded, and keep building your business and your relationships on purpose. This podcast is dedicated to you and all the incredible women out there breaking chains, pushing through, and striving to make it all work. Your support truly means the world to me. Could you do me a favor? Be a gem and leave a review. It will help us reach even more women, making a bigger impact. Your feedback is invaluable, and I would genuinely appreciate it. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe, ensuring you never miss an episode. Until next week, live a purposeful life in both your business and your finances.